We're really excited to get the season underway. We work year round. Our guys do for these 12 opportunities that are on your schedule to go play. You get 12 Saturdays or possibly a Thursday or Friday thrown in every once in a while here and there, but you get those opportunities, and they don't come along very often. And if you're very fortunate, you take care of your opportunity. Maybe you get 13 or 14 of those. So that's one thing we're looking forward to. And I know our guys, when you put in that work since January 1st, put in the work of off-season conditioning, off-season training. You go and you put in 15 practices during spring ball. You're going to have 29 practices during fall camp after summer training and summer conditioning for the guys. To get out there and finally get to go play a game, it's going to be pretty special. And I know our guys, to open the season this way, obviously on national television against a team ranked 13th in the country, is a pretty special way to start the season. So I know we're ready to. Our coaching staff's ready to get it kicked off. Our team's ready to get kicked off, and we're ready to go play. If you have any questions, raise your hand and have a mic. So you can get your webcast TV time.
I was looking at some of the stats from season openers in the past while you've been here, and you've won them by like an average of 1 million points, and they've been kind of laughers and stuff like that. But what? I know you prepare for all games like it's going to be a tough one, but how is this different? Going against a team that's obviously going to be a big challenge.
Well, I think what you do is you got to take out your margins for error. A lot of times you're looking, especially game one, is what we're trying to get accomplished. How we're trying to break in young players. Let's have a special plan maybe to break in young players. I think it's a little harder in this game. This is what amounts to a big time game right from day one. So you're treating this game like you would a game in November when you're competing for the conference championship. It's that level of deal. And I think in your preparation, sometimes you're looking past, okay, what are we doing game one to make sure we get everything in that we need to get in. And that switches to what do we have to do to win the game. Not that we didn't want to win those other games, but I think there's a lot less margin for error and flexibility to do those things.
Dan, you talked about breaking in young players. 2 young players showed up on your depth chart this week, Chris Jones and Derunya Wilson, and you've talked positively about them all camp. Can you break down those 2 young men for us and what you like out of camp?
Yeah, they're guys that came in, and, as we say, the young players, to me, it's how fast you adjust to the speed of the game out there. There were 2 guys, one, fortunately, as young players, stayed healthy all through training camp. So they got to get the reps and got to get opportunities, and they both really jumped out and made a lot of plays. And when you did that, it's not just making plays; it's making plays within the system. And so you got to do is counterbalance it, because a guy could make a couple of great plays and then have 15 MAs on what he's doing. And those 2 guys played solidly at their position. I think with took advantage of it. Derunya took advantage. Some guys being out took advantage of getting reps, and made a lot of spectacular catches, as well as being a consistent player. So they're 2 guys that we expect to play in this first game for us.
Speaking of freshmen, Dan, do you have any idea yet how many of those guys you might bring with you this week?
Oh, bring with us? Well, I didn't count it. We kind of have a tentative travel list, but I don't know. I'm guessing maybe 6 or 7. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm guessing. That's a pure guess. I'd have to go count it. That's not something I don't ever count what freshmen are doing what or any of that stuff for us. I just look at who's coming. I think our tentative travel list will be somewhere between 72 and 78 on the travel list.
Okay. While I got the mic, I want to ask you too about just the cornerback situation. I know Justin having to make an adjustment coming in here, and Tevez Calhoun at least is listed as the starter. Just talk about how you expect that rotation maybe to play out this week.
Well, especially in a team like this, going to throw it all over the field. We're going to play those guys a whole bunch. And you look at Tevez is a guy that's done everything right for us, and since he's been here. Has a great grade point average, takes care of his business, is a leader of the team, has been a champion when he's been able to stay healthy. I know he's had some injury issues, but this training camp he's been able to stay healthy, make plays. But I see us playing 4 to 5 corners easily in this game, and maybe even more. They won't be short for reps. They're all going to get their chance.
that is that prolific, but is going to probably throw 2 quarterbacks at you?
Well, I mean, you got to get ready and you look. You just, for them, one is a little bit more of a runner and the other is a little bit more of the passer. But to me, when you look at their 2 quarterbacks, it doesn't. They're not a runner and a passer. They both do each well. One's probably a little stronger at each category than the other, but you wouldn't classify them as purely runner and purely passer. And so, with that being said, they're not going to only going to run a different offense with each of those guys. It's just it's got a little different flavor depending on who's in the game and how those guys execute it. So, for us, it's about executing, being at the right place at the right time. When you're playing a team that's going to spread it out all over the field, I think that one of the most important things is open field tackling. That's going to be huge for our defense. When you look at a lot of big plays are, when you watch them on film, big plays are results of missed assignment where maybe their tempo or they went fast or somebody just did the wrong thing and they get an open gap and they create a big play. Or they get a guy one-on-one in the open field and you miss the tackle. And, so those are the things that we have to avoid to prevent giving up any of the big plays and force them to have to execute up and down the field all day long. Well, I mean, Gabe's to us is, a guy that has gotten all kinds of accolades as a 4-year starter for us. He comes into this year, his senior year, he's an everyday hard worker. I think he's gotten to play with a lot of guys that have gone on and had success at the next level. See how they've prepared from early in his career. From the Derek Sherrods and the Quentin Salisburys, all these guys have gone on to the next level. And, so he's got to watch that throughout his career. Now he's that guy that everybody else watches. But I think that experience has really taught him how to come to work every day and act and prepare like a professional and, and taking care of your business. And that's what Gabe does.
I know you mentioned at the start of preseason that having a big club like Oklahoma State start the season sort of heightened the awareness of the team. Now that you're here at game week, do you see the tighter focus of the team maybe compared to years past?
We have, but, I want to see today when they come out to practice. I think, game one, there's always that excitement. I mean, guys are just fired up to go hit somebody in a different colored jersey, hit somebody that's not their teammate on Saturday. And, and to get back out, I mean, our guys, they're here, they love to play the game. And that's what it's all about. So that opportunity for them to get to play the game, no matter who it's going to be, I think that game one excitement for our guys and that energy level is always there.
I know we talk a lot about Oklahoma State's offense because it's been so prolific, but what defensively do they do to be successful, and what will Tyler be seeing out there that's going to make it difficult?
Well, they have some very talented players in the secondary. And then they have, defensive linemen that have some explosiveness to make plays. And watching their linebackers, I kind of look at everybody by number, so it's hard for me to always reel out names for everybody. But, in that crew, they got some guys coming back. They have guys that have played a lot of football coming back. And, one thing when you watch them defensively, they are, you talk about the things that I just talked about, the assignment football and open field tackling. They don't give up a lot of the big plays. They're very assignment sound. They're very good open field tacklers, and they really force you to earn every yard down the field. Now, when you look at them and you look at them from last year, they're going to have a different personality this year with a new coordinator. So, part of it is you don't know exactly what you're going to see out of this year's team, and players are a lot different this year than they were last year. But from what you've seen in the past, that's what you've seen, that sound fundamentals, sound schematically, and really force you to earn things.
Dan, you said early on that you won't know if this was a good idea to play a game like this until Saturday night, but can you make the argument that win or lose, there have been positives about playing a game like this and wanting to maybe do it in the future just by focus early on in camp and the national television exposure? There's a checklist of things you're getting out of this already.
No, this is a great game for us. The opportunity to play in this type of game is special, no matter what the outcome. Obviously, it's more special even when you win. But every game's that way. So, for us, I think it is a great honor for us to get invited to play in this game, and it shows, I think, where our programs become that we get thought of in that light to be invited to play in this type of football game.
Along that same line, Dan, just how important in the bigger picture, I don't know how, if you, right now, if you consider that, I know you're focused on the game, but to win a game like this against a ranked team in this kind of spotlight, how important, big picture-wise, would that be for the program and for you?
Well, I mean, I guess it'd be pretty good, you know. Would depend what we did the week after, too. Big picture. In the big picture thing, you got to go win a lot more besides just the one game. To me, you know, like I said, as we build this program, you know, and building the programs based on being a consistent winner. So, you know, I think in the big picture of the program, I don't think one game turns you in any different direction. It's the consistency in which you play, and hopefully the consistency in how we win is really how I view the big picture.
When you talk about consistency, I know I think at SEC Media Days you talked about preparing to lose, because in the SEC the champions lose one game. How has the team kind of accepted that, you know, it's only one game, win or loss, and moving forward? We'll
find out. When we have that talk. Hopefully, it's not for a long time. And maybe we won't have to have that talk this year. Maybe we'll win every one, and we won't have to. But I think that's been a mindset of our guys. That was something just learning from last year. In that is, you know what I mean. So it's not the first time they hear it. It's not game week. It's not, you know, the day after the game or in the locker room after the game, and you know, thinking it's, hey, I'm trying to make them feel better, or this is how we do it. That they understand with our schedule. I think preseason polls, we play 5 top 13 teams. That's a lot. I don't know a lot of people that play 5 top 13 teams on their schedule. I'm sure there's some in this league that do. But that's a lot of top national teams in the country. So for our guys, I love the challenge. I love the schedule. I love, you know, that's why guys come here, because they want to play against the best week in and week out. But when you play that schedule, you better understand and judge success in a certain way that you might not go undefeated. And playing that hard a schedule, it's going to be okay not going undefeated. You're still going to have opportunities to play for and win championships. Hogging the mic. Who's hogging the mic?
It's been a couple of weeks. I mean, is there any injury updates this week?
I'd say Rufus Warren's going to be doubtful for the game this week. And obviously Gus Wally's going to be out. He's probably out for the year. Going through the deal. For us, who am I missing? For Lando Bohannon's going to be questionable with a concussion. Everybody else going through with our trainers today. I knew that when I was sticking on that one, that there was somebody that was 2 question marks. Everybody else is probable for the game.
A lot's been said about Oklahoma State playing 2 quarterbacks in the game. How do you kind of incorporate Dak into what you're going to do in your game plan Saturday?
You know, we'll always have a little bit of a pack. One, we got to have him ready to play the game, obviously, with 2 quarterbacks, you know, that he's a play away from going into the game. But with a guy like Dak that kind of brings a little something different than Tyler to the table, we usually have a little package every week that we'll have ready for him. You know, some things that really highlight his strengths, and we'll continue to do that.
Just to follow up on that, Dan, it won't be a situation where certain possession Dak knows he's going in, or you'll have a situation where, yeah, Dak, you know you're going in there.
It'd be more situationally than I said, hey, the 3rd play of the game you're going in, right. There's a package that he's going to run. Now, when we get in a situation, we want to use that package.
Similarly to last year where, you know, Tyler would come off the field, know he's coming off the field, and Dak's going in?
Yeah. I mean, that's how we do it. You know, last year we probably force-fed Dak on a little bit more, being a young player. You know, Dak's played in games, has experience. He's thrown touchdown passes. He's run for touchdowns in games, in SEC games, in big environments. So as far as trying to make sure he has that experience early on, that's not as critical as just he'll be ready to go and you know, be ready to be the backup quarterback and be ready to run whatever package he has. Fantastic. Good to go. Thank y'all. See y'all Saturday.